The wind blew harshly across the ruined city, carrying dust and the echoes of battles long past. Crumbled buildings stretched like broken teeth against the orange sky. Captain Elias Kane, a human soldier with years of combat experience, crouched behind a fractured wall, scanning the area with sharp eyes. His mission was simple: recon the outskirts, find any remaining threats, and report back. But Elias had learned long ago that on a planet scarred by war, simple tasks rarely stayed simple for long. He adjusted his rifle and moved carefully. The ruins were eerily quiet. No alien patrols, no movement, just shadows stretching over debris. Still, the faint hum of energy caught his attention. It was subtle, almost like a heartbeat hidden under the wind. Curious and cautious, Elias followed the hum to a collapsed building. Inside, the air was cooler, carrying a strange scent, unfamiliar but not hostile. His eyes adjusted to the dim light, and then he saw her. A small figure crouched in a corner, glowing faintly with markings on her skin. She looked like a child, but with an aura of otherworldly intelligence. Elias froze, unsure if he should approach. The girl's wide eyes met his, filled with fear and curiosity. She backed up slightly, pressing herself against the wall. Elias lowered his rifle slowly, showing no threat. "Hey, it's okay," he said softly. His voice was calm, careful. "I'm not going to hurt you." The alien girl tilted her head, her glowing markings flickering like tiny sparks. She made a soft sound, almost a whistle, that Elias couldn't understand. He knelt down to appear less threatening. "I don't know your language, but we can try to talk. Can you understand me?" Her eyes studied him for a long moment. Then she reached out with a trembling hand. Elias smiled gently and offered water from his canteen. The girl hesitated, then drank quickly, her small hands shaking. "Good," Elias said quietly. "I'm Elias. What's your name?" She repeated a sound. "Lyra." The syllables were musical, flowing like water over rocks. Elias nodded, storing the name. Before he could ask more, a sudden noise made them both freeze. From the shadows came the sharp hum of alien drones patrolling the area. Elias grabbed Lyra's small hand and pulled her behind the rubble. "We need to move," he whispered. "Follow me." Together they slipped through the ruined streets. Elias led carefully, knowing every shadow could hide danger. Lyra was quick, almost like she could sense his intentions, moving silently beside him. As they ran, Elias realized something unusual. Lyra was not just scared. She was observing, learning. She pointed at a broken machine and made a gesture, then gestured toward herself and then him. Elias nodded slowly. She wanted him to understand something. He crouched beside her and looked at the machine. "You think this could help us?" he asked, hoping he guessed right. Lyra nodded and touched the device. To Elias's surprise, small energy readings stabilized. She smiled faintly, proud of the small success. The drone patrol passed by, unaware of their presence. Elias exhaled, relief washing over him. "Good job," he said. "You're smarter than you look." Lyra blinked and repeated the sound of the word smart in her own language, then pointed at Elias. He laughed softly, shaking his head. "Thanks, I think we'll make a good team." As night fell, the city became more dangerous. Shadows grew longer, and the faint glow of Lyra's markings lit the path. Elias led her to a small alcove, a hidden corner where they could rest for a while. "You're far from home," he said quietly. "Are you alone?" Lyra nodded, her small shoulders trembling. Then she drew in the dirt with her fingers, making shapes that looked like strange symbols. Elias watched carefully. Slowly, he realized she was trying to tell him about her people, and about a threat he had never expected. Her people were not enemies, she seemed to say. They wanted to stop something dangerous, something that could harm both humans and aliens. Elias's mind raced. If what she meant was true, then helping her was no longer just about survival. It was about saving countless lives. Suddenly, a loud crash made them both jump. Enemy patrols had found the building they had left behind. The drones were searching systematically, scanning every corner. Elias grabbed Lyra's hand again. "We need to climb," he whispered. He led her to a high cliff overlooking the ruins. From there, they could see the patrols moving below, unaware of the two figures above. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter, and she raised her small hands. A wave of energy pulsed from her, lifting debris and scattering the patrol below. Elias stared in awe. He had seen many things in battle, but never anything like this. "Impressive," he muttered. Looks like you've got more than brains, you've got power too. Lyra's face lit up with a shy smile. She had never been praised by a human before. Elias realized then that she was not just a survivor. She was extraordinary, a being capable of incredible things. The night passed slowly. Elias kept watch while Lyra slept, hidden behind rocks. He thought about what tomorrow might bring. The human soldiers he led would never understand the importance of this encounter, but he did. Somehow he knew that meeting Lyra had changed everything. By dawn, Elias had made a decision. He would protect Lyra no matter the cost. Together, they might find a way to stop the catastrophe her people feared. And maybe, just maybe, they could show that humans were more than warriors. They were capable of compassion, bravery, and ingenuity that could unite two worlds. As the first light of the sun touched the ruins, Lyra awoke. Her glowing eyes met Elias's steady gaze. No words were needed. Together they would face whatever came next. Above them, the horizon burned orange, and for the first time in years, the ruined city seemed less like a battlefield and more like a place of possibility. The story of a human soldier and an alien girl was only beginning. The first light of dawn spilled across the ruined city as Captain Elias Kane and the young alien girl, Lyra, prepared to move. The night had been long and tense, but it had also shown Elias that this small being was unlike any creature he had ever met. She was intelligent, brave, and, though young, possessed an energy that could change the course of events on this scarred planet. Elias adjusted his gear and looked at Lyra. "We can't stay here. The patrols will be back. We need to reach the human base. It's the only place safe enough to plan our next move." Lyra nodded, her glowing markings pulsing softly as if in agreement. She stepped close, her small hand brushing his. Elias smiled briefly, reassured by her trust. The journey to the base was difficult. The ruins of the city stretched endlessly and hidden dangers lurked in every shadow. But Elias's experience as a soldier guided them through. He taught Lyra to move quietly, to watch and listen. In turn, Lyra's powers helped them avoid detection. Occasionally, she would raise her hand, sending a faint pulse that confused surveillance drones or made small obstacles move aside. By mid-morning, they reached the edge of a cleared area. The human base was fortified with walls of steel and advanced energy shields. Soldiers patrolled the perimeter, cautious but unaware of the small duo approaching from the shadows. Elias and Lyra were soon inside. The soldiers froze when they saw the glowing alien girl. Some reached for weapons, others whispered in alarm. Elias raised a hand. "She's with me. She's not a threat. Her name is Lyra, and she knows something important." A few moments of tense silence followed. Then the base commander, Colonel James Harrow, stepped forward. "Explain now." Elias gestured to Lyra, who pointed to a series of markings she had drawn on the ground. Elias translated as best as he could. Lyra's people had discovered a secret plan. A faction of aliens intended to launch a powerful weapon that could destroy the human colonies on multiple planets. She had escaped to warn humans and stop the disaster. The soldiers looked at each other in shock. Elias added, "She's not here to fight. She's here to prevent a war. And if we don't act, countless lives will be lost." Colonel Harrow studied Lyra closely. Her glowing markings flickered as if sensing the weight of his decision. After a moment he nodded. "Very well. We'll hear her out. But she stays under supervision. No surprises." Elias led Lyra to the control room. There she showed the humans how the weapon worked, using gestures and the few tools she could manipulate. Slowly, the soldiers began to understand that the situation was urgent. The weapon could be launched at any moment. And the alien faction's goal was not just conquest, it was total annihilation. Elias turned to Lyra. "We need a plan. Fast." Lyra's small hand moved over a holographic map of the planet, showing hidden facilities and energy nodes. Elias studied it carefully. "We'll split into 2 teams," he said. "One team will disable the weapon. The other will block reinforcements. He'll guide us, Lyra." Lyra nodded, her glowing eyes sharp with determination. For the first time, Elias felt a surge of hope. They were no longer just hiding. They were fighting back together. The mission began at dusk. Elias led the infiltration team through winding tunnels and abandoned stations. Lyra's powers allowed them to pass undetected, disabling sensors and confusing patrols. At each obstacle, Elias used human ingenuity, improvising tools and strategies on the spot. They moved like a single unit, blending human skill and alien ability. As they neared the weapon's core, alarms suddenly blared. The alien faction had discovered their presence. Drones and guards moved in from every direction. Elias signaled for Lyra to use her abilities. She raised her hands and a wave of energy rippled outward, knocking drones off balance and opening a path. Elias moved quickly, using debris and cover to advance. He placed charges at key points, disabling the weapon's primary controls. The alien guards tried to stop him, but Elias anticipated their moves, using their own momentum against them. Lyra guided him through the final steps. Her knowledge of the alien technology allowed Elias to deactivate the weapon safely, preventing a catastrophic explosion. The energy core hummed down and the base's sensors confirmed success. The weapon was neutralized, but their work was not over. The alien faction attempted one final strike, sending reinforcements to retake the facility. Elias and Lyra faced them together. Lyra's powers created a protective barrier, while Elias led the human soldiers in a counterattack. Using clever tactics, they outmaneuvered the enemy, turning fear into strategy and chaos into order. By the time the dust settled, the alien reinforcements had retreated. Elias surveyed the scene. The soldiers were exhausted but alive, and Lyra stood beside him, glowing softly, tired but unbroken. Colonel Harrow approached, his expression serious but relieved. "Captain Kane, this was extraordinary. And this girl? She may have saved countless lives today. Humans and aliens both owe her thanks." Elias smiled faintly. "No, Colonel. We owe each other. She guided us, we protected her. Together we made it through. That's what matters." Lyra looked up at Elias and smiled. For the first time, she spoke a word in human language. "Friends." Elias nodded, feeling a deep warmth in his chest. Despite the war, the fear, the uncertainty, something had formed here. An alliance, a friendship, a bridge between two worlds. Over the next days, humans and Lyra's people began communicating more openly. Through Elias and Lyra, trust slowly grew. Humans learned to respect alien knowledge, and aliens saw the courage and ingenuity of humans firsthand. It was a start of something greater, a chance for peace, collaboration, and understanding. Elias walked with Lyra along the ridge of the planet, looking at the horizon. The sun rose over ruined cities and distant mountains, painting the world in shades of gold. The scars of battle were still visible, but they no longer seemed like permanent marks of defeat. "Do you think it will last?" Lyra asked softly, her glowing markings flickering with curiosity. Elias looked at her and smiled. "It has to, because we chose to make it last. Humans can be stubborn, strong, and clever, but we can also be kind. That's our greatest strength, and together we can face anything." Lyra's eyes shone with understanding. She extended her hand to Elias. He took it, and together they watched the sunrise. Two unlikely allies united by trust, courage, and hope, ready to face the challenges of the future. The story of a human soldier and an alien girl had begun with fear and uncertainty. It had grown into a tale of alliance, bravery, and the extraordinary power of humans to rise above challenges, think creatively, and act with empathy. Somewhere, beyond the horizon, a new chapter awaited them. A chapter where humans and aliens could work side by side, not as enemies, but as partners. And Elias knew that as long as humans stayed true to their courage, curiosity, and compassion, they could overcome even the greatest threats. Lyra tilted her head and smiled again, the soft glow of her markings reflecting the golden light. Elias grinned. Together they would explore this new world, protect those in need, and prove that sometimes the meeting of two very different beings could change the fate of entire planets. And in that moment, standing side by side, human and alien, Elias realized the truth he had always believed. Humans are capable of more than survival. They can inspire, protect, and create hope even in the darkest places.